Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Victoria. If you're new here, if you're not new here, welcome back. Today I'm going to talk about 5 things you should never tell your disabled friends because they hate hearing it. Let's get into it. Also, this shirt, super cute. I forgot the name of the girly pop who made these, but I'll link it below. And I know she's raising money for her surgery, so go ahead and cop one of these. Let me show you the whole fit. I don't know if I can. Sorry. It's so cute, yeah. It's so cute. Anyway, let's get into it. One thing you never want to tell your disabled friend is, it'll get better. Even if it will get better, it'll get better. I'm so sorry, it'll get better. Because sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it doesn't. You know? Sometimes it's a terminal illness. Sometimes it's hospitalization. Sometimes it's loss of functioning. Sometimes it doesn't get better. I think that while well-intended, sometimes when people say things like, it'll get better, it's because they don't know how else to respond. And instead of saying it'll get better, I think that showing up with more of a like open-minded, how can I best support you in this moment, would be better than just saying, oh, it'll get better, because it feels like very shallow, very conciliatory, very, I don't even know if that's a word, but it feels very like I don't really want to deal with it, so I'm just gonna say this small thing. So yeah, one thing to not tell your friend, especially someone who's like going through it and stuff hasn't been getting better. Come on, guys, we can do better. Second thing, God gives his strongest soldiers or strongest warriors his toughest battles. No. No. And us disabled people, like, we can joke about it, haha, hee hee, like God put us on his strongest warrior list again, but it's not funny. And when you tell us that, does not make me feel better. The Bible is full of hard subjects, contradictory things, very difficult things to speak through, and you will not guess how many times somebody told me to read the book of Job. Did y'all read the book of Job? Did you? Because it's just endless, not endless, but you know, it's like years, decades of suffering, bad suffering for no reason. And then God comes in and is like, doesn't even really clear it up. It's just like, I know what I know, you don't. And like, who are you? And you know, so it's just like, telling a disabled person they're strong is not a compliment. We deal with a lot of things, and we already know that, you know, a lot of able-bodied people could never walk in the same shoes, and come out with it and still face every day. We know our strength for the most part, and I feel like people saying, you know, oh, well, like, all of these things happen for a reason, which is another one. But everything, you know, people saying, you know, God gives his toughest battles to strongest warriors. Sometimes, guys, bad things just happen. And God tells us that we should expect trials. We should expect trials. He promises he'll be there with us, but he doesn't say ever that life will be easy. And the trials that happened in the Bible, they wasn't no cute little, it was some serious trials, you know, people going through it. And so, you know, there's this framing of victory, and like there's this battle to be won that gets placed on disabled people that is not helpful, especially through a Christian lens. And I am Christian, but especially through a Christian lens, but also in a non-Christian lens, with people just being ableist unintentionally, you know, like when you say something like God gives his toughest battles, it kind of feels like it's excusing things that happen. It's excusing the valid anger and resentment and grief that people hold. It gives the illusion that like our suffering happened for this greater purpose, which is just not true. And while again things can come out, you know, once a disabled person goes through certain things, they can come out with more wisdom on certain things, more empathy for certain things. But that's not the reason we go through it. We go through it because, you know, all those other things happening in the world. In my case, you know, there's genetic things. There's also epigenetic things. There's also a global pandemic in which people like didn't care about getting other people sick. And medical neglect and obsteric racism, and you know, there's just a whole lot of reasons why things happen. And while God is in control of all of the things, I believe as a Christian, sometimes it's unexplainable. You know what I mean? We don't know why things happen. And sorry, it's not because we're strong, it's not because we have the most faith. No, sometimes bad shit happens to good people. Bad shit happens to bad people. Bad shit happens to everybody. And I'd rather a friend tell me that and sit with me in that, in the grief and the pain, than say, "Oh, God gives his stuff his bad." Like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Another thing not to say to disabled people, have you tried? No, I haven't tried that yoga practice to cure my fucking genetic disease. Great idea. Maybe I'll try that. What do you think? Do you think? Don't say that. Have you tried, especially unsolicited advice, when somebody's asking, and this happens to disabled people all the time, when somebody's asking for something specific, I could be like, oh, hey guys, do you have any specific tips on getting a wheelchair assessment, which is something I've asked before. People, oh, you don't need a wheelchair, and oh, my insurance didn't cover. Didn't ask any of that. Didn't ask about any of that. Hey guys, do you have a doctor who treats POTS? Do you know you have POTS? How do you know you have POTS? I heard, have you tried fluids? Didn't ask for any of that. None of that I asked for. It's stuff like that. And I don't think people realize also, the labor that goes into responding to things, and the emotional labor that goes into dealing with all of the ableism and the microaggressions and everything like that. Like, it's additional labor. And so you chiming in with some extra BS that I don't need, why are we doing that? So those are the 4, I think I did 4, maybe it was 3, 4 things you should not say to your disabled friends. I just realized I literally ended the video there. Whoops. So if you like the video, please like and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys soon.